Wasn't the original concept. The original concept was America first. The original concept was prices are everything and they have to come down. And I remember you pounding that mantra to great effect all through the campaign. And then as soon as he got elected, remember what the message was. Bringing prices down is hard. That was his original sell. Not Iran can't have a nuke. He never said that during the campaign. That wasn't a big thing. Now it is.
Tonight's clip captures one of the most intense political showdowns on NewsNation as Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly go head-to-head over America's handling of Iran, national security, and the growing divide inside U.S. politics. What starts as a debate over foreign policy quickly turns into a fiery clash about truth, media narratives, nuclear threats, and whether strength or diplomacy is the better path forward. Cuomo pushes back hard against what he sees as fear-driven politics, while O'Reilly defends a tougher, America-first strategy focused on deterrence and military pressure. As tensions rise live on air, the conversation becomes personal, emotional, and impossible to ignore. Watch closely as both men battle over Iran's nuclear capabilities, inflation, political division, and the future direction of the United States.
What did the Chinese say to you, Bill?
I have some pretty good information. So number one, there will be discussions about China helping the United States with Iran to tamp Iran down. That's number one. But in return, the Chinese are going to want something, and that will center around Taiwan. Not a handover or anything like that, but maybe the beginning of a discussion about Taiwan.
Do you like that trade?
Yeah, I think it's good for us. 2049 is the 100th anniversary of the evil Mao Zedong's takeover of China. And they being the Politburo, want the Chinese flag flying over that island nation. Now, whether that happens or not, who knows? It's a long way out. But there's room for discussion about a number of things with Taiwan. And the Chinese at this point are just trying to get into the room. Now, as far as America is concerned, what do you expect Donald Trump to say?
The truth.
He's not going to say, oh, yeah, I'm weak. I see the prices going up, so I'm going to sell out my original concept of denying Iran nukes.
That wasn't the original concept. The original concept was America first. The original concept was prices are everything and they have to come down. And I remember you pounding that mantra to great effect all through the campaign. And then as soon as he got elected, remember what the message was. Bringing prices down is hard. That was his original sell. Not Iran can't have a nuke. He never said that during the campaign. That wasn't a big thing. Now it is.
This is history. This evolves. So you're a president of the United States, Cuomo, and you have intel coming in from the CIA, the NSA, and Mossad that says these people, the Iranians, are very close to getting a nuclear weapon.
That wasn't the intelligence he got.
I think, yes, it was.
Well, we just had the U.S. intelligence agencies put out information that they were not weeks away from having a nuclear weapon, just like Grassi from the IAEA. Hegseth either made that up or got it wrong.
Okay. No, it's a Reuters report. That's what you were citing last week, which was totally phony.
Oh, really? How do you know?
The Wall Street Journal, because the Wall Street Journal citing the Institute for Science and International Security, whereas Reuters cited nothing, just anonymous sources. The headline was, U.S.-Israeli strikes set back Iran's ability to build nuclear weapon. The headline in Reuters that you jumped on was, Iran no further from nuclear weapon than before war. Reuters is not a legitimate news agency. It's a partisan news agency that hates Trump.
But the Wall Street Journal is a fair broker. The Wall Street Journal, no, it's what you think it is. But the Wall Street Journal is a fair broker. And the American intelligence agencies have said nothing about this. So odd in the Trump era, Bill, don't you think that something's said that's not true and he doesn't have them speak up and correct it? How do you explain that?
Well, listen, the American intelligence agencies and Mossad, and Netanyahu confirmed it. I mean, I know you don't consider him a valid source. was that
When did I
they
say
were
that?
within weeks of getting enriched uranium. Okay, so the
I agree with
Israelis
that.
said we can wipe them all out.
I agree with that.
So if you're
There's
a
just
president,
a difference between
then
having
if you're
weapons-grade uranium and having a weapon. That's all. It's not me making this up. It's called,
Okay.
it's called nuclear physics.
Okay, fine. So if you're a president and this is what you're presented with, and you're presented with a scenario where you can take out the top terrorist leadership of the country, most presidents, not all, would do that. Okay? So that is not something that's from outer space or a diversion of anything else. Now, the problem is there are unintended consequences, and that's inflation. That's angry voters because they don't like this. They don't know about what the danger is. They know about their wallets shrinking. And that's reality.
It is.
So President Trump is gambling that he can turn it around, all right, and that all the prices will come down quickly if he can negate the Iranian government. So he goes to China. He asks China for help. This is not going to be made public, of course, okay? China will say either yes or no. But it's in China's best interest because if you know anything about the country, what they value above all else is order. They don't want disorder. It's bad for business. They don't want Hormuz. They don't want any of this. And I understand that President Trump is going to offer China an alternative oil buy. So they'll be able to buy from the United States.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Rather than Iran.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
No question about that.
All of
Much
that-
better than the come build your manufacturing factories here. I hope that's not true.
I don't care about the factories, but there was a reason 16 CEOs went on this trip, and that is to negotiate the beginnings of a major trade deal with the United States. That's why they were on the plane. But anyway, what we're looking at here is another gamble by the biggest presidential gambler of all time, Donald Trump. If he wins and the Iranians do pull back and the economy does, explode in a positive way, that's going to mean a lot in the midterms. One more thing that I saw on NewsNation last night, it was shocking. So this guy Moulton, the congressman from Massachusetts, comes on NewsNation and he says, oh, we already had a deal. Barack Obama had a deal. We already had a nuke deal. We didn't do this. Barack Obama had negotiated a nuke deal and they weren't going to develop nukes. Well, if that were true, which it isn't, okay, why wouldn't the mullahs then agree to weapons inspections? If they don't have it, if they never did it, if they abided by what Obama wanted, why wouldn't they let you in to take a look? I mean, it was so, I'm sitting there going, are you crazy? And the answer is, of course,
Do you
yes.
hear a lot of people who are knowledgeable about the nature of the JCPOA, which, by the way, had a huge benefit over where we are right now? Is that right now we're alone with the regime's biggest enemy, which is the IDF. And then you had the P5+1 who had signed on to it that could enforce snap sanctions, leverage their relationships. So just on the face of that one facet of it, it was far superior to where we are right now. But do you believe that all of the experts who say, well, if we had stayed in that, we wouldn't be in this situation right now because at least you had something, and they wouldn't have been able to enrich the uranium the way they did only after Trump walked out of the deal? Do you say they're all wrong?
Who's going to stop them from enriching? Weapons inspectors are not allowed in. So who's going to stop them?
But then why hadn't they enriched the uranium until after he walked out of the deal?
I don't know the timeline about enriching uranium. I know that they were doing it when these intel reports came into the president's desk. I talked to the president on Sunday, by the way. I'm not name dropping. I just want people to know I know what I'm talking about.
Well, you mean that you're talking to him.
Deceit.
That doesn't mean that you have better handle of the facts just because you're talking to the president.
Okay, look.
I mean, come on.
Cuomo, I have to do my job, okay? And if you don't want to believe it, you don't have to believe it. I'm just reporting what is said and what makes sense. All right? Donald Trump is not a self-destructive man. He's not going to blow up the Republican Party and his own administration by doing something that's not necessary. There was no reason to do that. All right? So I am saying that it looks like there is a reason to do it. Now, whether he can get anything done with a genocidal regime like Iran, I don't know.
At the end of the day, this debate showed just how divided America has become when it comes to foreign policy, national security, and political leadership. Chris Cuomo focused heavily on the risks of fear-driven politics and questioned whether constant escalation with Iran could push the country toward even greater instability, while Bill O'Reilly argued that strength and pressure are the only ways to stop dangerous regimes from taking advantage of the United States. Neither side backed down for a second, and that's exactly why this conversation exploded online. What made this exchange stand out wasn't just the shouting or the tension. It was the fact that both men represented two completely different visions of how America should deal with global threats. One side believes diplomacy and restraint prevent disaster, while the other believes toughness and deterrence are the only language enemies understand. That clash reflects the larger political divide happening across the country right now. No matter which side viewers agreed with, this debate made one thing clear. Conversations about Iran, inflation, military power, and America's future are only becoming more intense as the political pressure keeps rising. And if debates like this continue, the divide between both sides may grow even deeper, heading into the next major political battles. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think won this heated showdown? Chris Cuomo or Bill O'Reilly? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more